Welcome everybody, this is Brothermutant here. Today we're going to talk about some more graphical changes. And it's not that I have a ton more, it's basically at this point I have so many that I'm kind of deciding on what to do for each one. There's a lot of really good content out there lately, and I'm certainly not going to bastardize the man's name by trying to say it out loud, but I'll put all the links in the description down below. He's done a phenomenal job. Basically all you have to do is go to Neverwinter Vault and look up things like simple fixes, and you'll see his name associated with a ton of content. He's done a great job, and I've already done videos on his work that I'm kind of picking and choosing which is the best look for my character, basically. Now we have a variety of spells that I've already demonstrated before, ones you guys have already seen. I have some in here that I've reworded just so that I could cast like an alternate version. So Bless has the version that I like on it, but I'll give an alternate version in Iron Body. I know that sounds stupid. It's just I have to tie it to something so I don't have to keep switching files. I'll basically delete this once this video is over for Iron Body, Spider Skin, and Stone Skin. It's not the original look or anything remotely resembling a look that I would go with for those spells. The point is I can basically cast one, take a knee, cast the other, and then show you again a tit for tat, an example for the other. So we have spells that I'm keeping. Let's actually go over those first, so you guys will remember that I have my Protection from Alignment spell, which I love, the Hula Hoop of Doom. Very nice, very clean, crisp, obvious spell. I have, of course, Protection from Arrows, which is the Windshield in it, which again, I love. It's a very nice, clean look, and I'm pretty happy with it. And these aren't spells, well, Protection from Alignment will be one that you take in potion form, or caster form, or scrolls even. Protection from Arrows is not something you're going to see a lot of use of. So it's okay for me that it's underwhelming. But the other spells that we're going to talk about, you've seen examples of as well. Let's give you a good example of one here that I've been trying to tweak on. Divine Favor is one that I'd really like to have a nice graphic for it. There's a couple of choices that I'll actually show you. One that I'm kind of settling in. This one is not necessarily the one I would pick. This is a visual that was actually downloaded for Shades, as a matter of fact. This is a pack from the gentleman we just got done talking about. He did a variety of upgrades. One of them was for Shade, Shadow Shield, and Shield. All of the spell effects I love. It's just a matter of, do I love it more than the original or something else that I could put in its place, and that's where I need your guys' help. This would be his version of Shades. Now obviously I have it on Divine Favor. Why? Well, Divine Favor is one of those where the god basically is blessing you in some kind of way. You can do an extra attack bonus and get extra magical damage increase to your attacks up to a +3 for both of those. And having the all-seeing eye of something behind you kind of smacks to me of, you got the favor of the god that we're talking about. So I like it. I'm not married to the idea, but it's a decent choice. What I was using, and you guys probably have seen this already, was this one. And again, I know it's Stone Skin up here, but it's just so I can put the visual effect on it. So here's the visual effect I've been using for Divine Favor. As you recall, very nice, simple, red aura. Looks nice. Doesn't last very long because the spell's only supposed to be a minute long, 2 minutes if you extend it, which I don't even know if you can. The point's still the same. It's a good buff. It's just, this was what I was using for Mage Armor back in the day, and it's not that this would still be a bad call for that. It's still a fantastic visual effect for Mage Armor, I think, compared to the original Mage Armor, which is this aura, a bunch of little red twinkles, and a big hog-on red sphere, which in many cases, if you're a tall character, cuts you off at the damn knee. So again, I'm not married to this, but this was the other alternative for Divine Favor. Now I stumbled across another one that I liked almost as much, if not more than that red aura, and it could serve as a good potential. And it's under Nightshield. The reason it's under Nightshield is because it actually is the original version of Nightshield modified. For those of you that are familiar with Nightshield, the vanilla version, it's basically the same exact look. You see the red motes, which is what I call these little red dots swirling around. You see the red aura on the hands, which is very badass. This is one I'm toying with keeping on for Nightshield, but not necessarily. Now this is not the original vanilla version of Nightshield. Vanilla version is all of what you see here, plus a black sphere around your character with some smoke around it. So basically, on Nightshield, like you can think. It's a very cool looking spell, vanilla version as far as I'm concerned, and I have really no need to upgrade it. But there was some possibilities that presented themselves. This, for Divine Favor, to me would work okay, because again, with your hands glowing like that, remember you're going to do extra damage and a better attack bonus. To me, that smacks of something with your swing, right? So having glowing hands to me is pretty cool, and while you can't really make those out very well, the red motes around you are pretty damn obvious. So again, I could see this as being one of my favorite choices for Divine Favor. I'm not married to any of these, obviously, but again, I do like this one as well. Now, I could just as easily keep this one for Shades, and Shades has a very intensive graphic to it. We'll get to that here in a moment. But those are a couple examples of what we're talking about here. Now, we have Shield from that same person that gave us the Arcane Disc, is what I'm going to call the one you just saw behind my back, the one that's keying off of Divine Favor right now. He's also given us a very good Arcane Shield, is what I call it. As you can see, it's from on a sheath spell. I can put it on any spell I want, really, but this one will glitch if I have casted a spell on a pet, whether it's a summon creator or someone else's. It causes my game to crash every time. Same with this one, same with the Arcane Disc that you saw behind my back, and same with the Shadow Shield, which you'll see, which is a black triangular shield, which you'll see in a moment. Another very awesome graphic. All of them seem to be very glitchy when it comes to casting them on pets for me. Why my game's doing it, no one else is having this problem, I don't know, but I don't want to ruin my game because of it. So I will put these on individual single target spells, and ones that I will just have to remember, don't cast it on a pet. Well, Shield you can only cast on yourself, so that works fine. Same with Shades, same with Shadow Shield. So again, all those work fine, but I'm reworking them for my needs. This one I'm keeping on Shields. It just looks cool, and it is a shield, and it's a shield armor class bump, so it makes perfect damn sense, and I love it. It's awesome sauce, so I'm keeping that one. But having said that, he's made another shield in Shadow Shield, a black one. A very cool animation. Oops. Come on. There we go. A little glitch there for some reason. I don't know why I did that. But as you can see, here's your shield. You can see it on your character. Nice little triangular shield. Very cool. And this one is a spell that gives you natural armor class bump as well as a bunch of other stuff. The reason that that's important is, A, technically speaking, this is a shield, and therefore you may assume falsely that it's a shield armor class increase. It is not. But the name is Shadow Shield, hence, the reason for making it. Well, if that's just as good for making it for this, I thought to myself, well, why don't I just rework this one and slap it under the Nightshield? Because Nightshield's graphic is heavily intensive, and Nightshield's graphic is used by 3 different classes: sorcerers, wizards, and clerics. Shadow Shield is only something that sorcerers and wizards get, and only at the higher levels. So you're never really going to see me use that damn spell in any LP unless I really get to like a level 7. What's that, level 13 or 14 sorcerer or wizard? So I really have to be pretty high up there to have access to this, unless we're talking scrolls or potions, obviously. So I thought, it's such a really good graphic, why not put it on something that I would use daily? Something that you may see my characters cast it, because it is such a good spell. The reason that Nightshield sucks for a choice is it's no armor class at all. So you may mislead yourself again into thinking that, oh, well, it's giving me an armor class bump by the graphic. It's not. This spell, if I put it on Nightshield, is nothing more than a saving throw increase. That's it. +1, +2, +3 maximum. It's a good spell, though. And again, lasts a reasonable amount of time. And I can see this being a relatively cool looking effect for something called Nightshield. That makes sense to me again, right? So that's the reason I was thinking of switching it around. I could just as easily keep it on Shadow Shield. There's nothing wrong with that. Shadow Shield's a damn good spell, but if you look at Shadow Shield, it is A, high level, and B, it gives you a lot of other cool stuff, which is nothing wrong with that. It just seems very simple for something that gives you so many things. And that's really where my issue comes in. So, the original version of Shadow Shield is basically a black sphere around your smoke, and black smoke trailing into your character. A very large graphic, to be sure, but again, one to me that smacks of you got a big ass spell on you. Same with the original version of Shades. You cast it, and it's a big ass spell on you. This one here is another alternative that I was toying with. Now, I don't know which one to put this on, and I probably wouldn't even put this on something like Shades, because it makes no sense. Why are my Shades red instead of black? But you get the idea. I have 3 spells that, special effects files I should say, that look just like this. Notice this is basically the same effects that you saw with Nightshield, except in Nightshield's effect you also saw the red on the hands. So this is just the red motes. I also have ones that have blue motes and green motes, and I'm going to use those two, you're going to see here in a moment. But this is a potential for something. I'm not really sure what I put it on. Red to me either smacks of, and don't judge me on this, evil. Therefore, I'm not an evil caster, so this is neutral versus good caster even. And the person that's been doing all these upgrades, they did a really nice upgrade to prayer, which I'll show you here in a little bit. But their versions of these spells are keyed in on the fact that your character is a good or neutral or evil caster, and that's fantastic because good, they did a different graphic, still the same spell, just a slightly different look to it, different color. Blue for good, green for neutral, and red for evil, which again all fits for me. I'm happy with those choices, but again, I'm not going to see all 3 of those choices in the campaign because chances are I'm not going to have a good and an evil and a neutral caster of the same spell on the team, right? So I'm trying to pick and choose the ones I like the best is the idea. I like the red, but again, red to me smacks of evil or damage. It doesn't really smack enough of damage that I would use it for Divine Favor, which is why I would use this version. So it gives you the red hands. And yes, they are additive, so you'll see even more red dots now, but now you see the red aura kicking off the hands. So again, that to me smacks of Divine Favor, Divine Power, something other than what it's being used for. So, the original version though of Shades is this cluster pluck of this awesome stuff. It's like buckyballs and everything swirling around you, a big massive globe sphere of just crap. But it's cool, and the spell gives you a ton of stuff. Premonition, protection from spells, and shield, which means I would never be using my shield spell, this one, with the inclusion of Shades, because they don't overlap for the armor class bump. So there's no need to have this buff on you when you're going to be casting this on yourself. Right? And you see here it says, oh, armor class bump, blah blah, whatever. Oh, and look at that, it actually took off my shield icon graphic. I didn't even know how to do that. Well, that's wild. Anyway, point is, there's no need to have both those buffs up at the same time, so, you know, whatever I turn Shades into is fine, because again, it will include a shield component to it, and a bunch of other stuff too. But the question then is, what else can I do? So I have aid, mass aid, which keys off of it unless you tell it otherwise, which is important. And I'm fine with that. I'm actually happy to use the same graphic for both. So to do it, I'm going to cast a pet out to prove to you that it's not going to cause any problems for me. And that's always important, because this is the reason I have to be careful with some certain spell choices, because if this crashes my game, well, then I know that not to use that. So here's mass aid. And I can see there's the red motes I had a moment ago. Now here's the green ones. And I don't know why, but to me, for whatever reason, I think of aid, I think of green. I don't know what is in my brain that makes me do that. Probably because I'm thinking of healing. And it's not a healing spell. However, it is a spell that gives you extra health, so maybe that's a good call. I'm not married to it. It's a good choice. Obviously, I have it for single version as well, and it's the same exact damn effect. So don't think that it's working for one and not the others. It's still there. Again, it swirls around. Pretty darn obvious that it's on you. Pretty darn happy with it as a choice. And normally you don't even get a graphic, if I remember correctly. Aid and Bless don't have visuals after the effect. You know, after the casting, I should say. So this is a nice upgrade, I think. It's not married to it again. You know, I could just easily go with something else. But I think it's a good call. From there, I had Bless, and again I'm going to cast out the pet to show you that it's not going to crash it. But again, I have that issue. So here is Bless. Now this is part of his upgrade. Now the twinkle though is mine. I stole it from something else and I like it. It's not the green motes floating around, spinning around, it's twinkle shell. So I call this twinkle large or something in my files just to keep it separate in case I want to use it for something else. But as you can see, it's very nice, pretty obvious it's on you. And I have a modified version which is under Iron Body, and I'm going to show you that here in a second. But get a feel for what we're talking about here. This is Bless. The reason I picked this one for Bless is because it's closer to yellow than anything else, and the twinkles, It makes me think I'm blessed. I don't know. Again, it's just a feel. If it's something that you'd say, oh no, that's definitely aid, man, slap that on aid, let me know below the description down below. I'm happy to take suggestions. I'm not saying I'll listen to you guys, but at the very least, take your considerations into advisement, especially if you have something that just smacks up, oh no, you're totally wrong, go with this one. I will totally look at your guys' advice and go from there. But now that's the one I'm settling on for bless, by and large. I could do the green swirls. I could do blue swirls. And I have that. Where did I put that at? Oh yeah. I have, you saw the green motes and then the red motes earlier. Here's the blue mote one. This looks badass. Now currently this is under Shield of Faith. And I don't know. I'm cool with this being Shield of Faith. This could just as easily be Bless or Aid. Again, I'm not married to any of it. Shield of Faith, the version I have, the original vanilla version sucks. So, and if you guys like it, great. I don't. The one I've been using for Shield of Faith, and I don't use it that much, but if I do, you would have seen a nice sphere around the character, almost a disc really, but it's basically a sphere. Bright yellow edges and kind of hazy in the center, so it's hard to make out the character, but it's clear and obvious who you are. And to me, that smacked of Shield of Faith at the time, and I'm still fine with that. I may even go back to that. But this one here is a really nice one, and I love the very cool blue look as it dances around your character. Again, this could be Aid, Bless. Doesn't really think of this as Divine Favor. Again, I'd rather see something like on the hands. So that red one with the red motes and the red hands that you saw on Nightshield would be okay. Or, again, the arcane disc behind your back, again with the eye looking behind you, the Divine Favor, your God checking you out kind of thing. Again, I'm not married to any of them, so I will take suggestions, but these are kind of what the ideas I'm toying with. This could just as easily still stay Shield of Faith, though. Why blue to me smacks of Faith? Don't ask me. Same, if it would have been white, I probably would have felt the same way. And if it would have been black, I would have probably tried to match with something like Shadow Shield or Shades. Actually, that would have looked damn cool as Shades, I thought. Simple, sleek, elegant, black motes flying around you. That to me would have been awesome. Because all of these, to me, for those of you that are big fans of Sci-Fi Channel, if you ever checked out The Magicians, I love The Magicians. It's a really great show. And they have wards, basically protection spells. And their wards are indicated by symbols and stuff floating around their bodies. It's certainly not as graphic as what they have, but you get the idea. It's kind of reminding me of this stuff. So this is a cool one. Also, you'll notice that the spells as they pop differently. You saw the little explosion of lights right there. This is actually another SEF file that I downloaded, and it's called protect_CESS, so cessation, I think. So popping of the spell as it basically wears off. This is the graphic that happens, the lights scattering everywhere, and I love the look of that, so I'm keeping that. From there, I told you Bless had that big light show, the little twinkle show. Here is the muted version of it, and it's a little more red. This is one I was using, I think. And it's not that it's horrible. It's nice. It's just not a lot. Sure, you see a bunch here now, but when you start throwing on other stuff like Aid or Nightshield with the red, you see how it gets drowned out real quick. So if you did like this one here too, you see I got green and I got red, and then the yellow's in there. You just can't really see the twinkles very much, and that was where the issue was. So here's Bless now, and you'll see all of its twinkle shows that it's going on, and it's massive. So it's fairly obvious. Now I know I'm starting to look like a Christmas tree, and I don't care. Again, compared to some of the other graphics that the game was giving us, I'm real happy with these as choices. I just don't know which to settle on for what. So let's see, is there anything that I've missed? Lesser Visage of the Deity. This one here, I think I have it as a vanilla version right now. Yeah, this is what it's supposed to look like. And it's okay. Yellow, the big yellow kicking off you, and the red hand, or the yellow hands. Very reminiscent of the red hands that you got from Nightshield. Quite frankly, if I could get someone to get rid of all this halo crap here, the big spheres, the circles kicking off you, keep the yellow halo and the yellow on the hands, I would love that for Divine Favor. personally speaking. But I don't know enough about it to do it that way, and I don't know anyone that's willing to change it for me. So this is staying the vanilla version. I could just easily make it one of the red modes or the yellow or the green modes or the blue modes or the twinkles. You get the idea. But nothing really stood out to me, and I really don't use that spell all that much anyway. Even as a cleric, this is not a spell that I particularly care about. Yeah, you get some decent resistance depending on which one you're picking. You know, are you good, neutral, or evil? I'm actually neutral, so I get this one. But, I'd rather slap on, quite frankly, endure elements or protection from energy. You get the idea. You know, the +4 charisma bump's useful, but it doesn't last very long either. So again, another reason that I'm kind of like, who cares? You know, greater Visage of the Deity is a better one. Damage resistance to physical attacks, bump to your natural armor bonus. Spell resistance when you get it at level 17, I think is the earliest you can get this as a cleric, is a pretty damn high spell resistance. Now gradually you'll wear out of that once you get to level 20 plus, but still for a good long while it's still useful. And again, depending on which alignment you are, you get a decent increase to certain things like your physical attributes and mental attributes. And while you may have plenty of gear that bump up 3, 4, 5 pieces of your physical and mental stats, you don't bump up all 6 most times. So guaranteed it's giving you some kind of bump. Whether it's something you can capitalize on or use, I mean, that's kind of up to how you guys build your character, but you get the idea. Still good stuff. And the good thing about this one is it actually keys off of your aura based on your alignment. So blue aura for good, green for neutral, and red aura for evil. So again, just like the one guy's been doing for the bless spell, which we'll show you here in a moment. Now we have protection from energy. Now here, I have 2 versions. Here's protection from energy, the one I'm probably going to go with. Not, again, stuck on it. Here's the one you guys probably been seeing, though. And I got it under spider skin right now just so I can show it to you. This is the one you've probably been seeing on my characters. Notice the motes zipping into my character, sucking up energy, which is how I think of it. So again, it's a really good graphic. It's not too intensive. It's really nice. It's white, I think, kind of yellow, white, and blue is the colors I think I see as I notice these things zipping into me. So again, that's the one I've been using. Now here's the one I'm kind of deciding on whether I want it. So here's our protection from energy now. Similar effect, just the blue balls though, zipping in to my character. So these little blue motes zooming in, and a lot of them, and it's pretty bright. Very happy with the color. Matter of fact, especially at night, it looks fantastic, I think. So this is the one I'm probably going to stick with. I can't think of a reason to use this for anything else though. Same with the other one, right? So if I take an E, get rid of it, and then grab this one again. Basically, both these graphics, this is the only thing I could think of using these graphics for, would be for protection from energy. This doesn't smack of any other buff to me. And again, if you guys think differently, say, oh my god, don't forget, you could use that for whatever. By all means, make suggestions. But I don't really see this as a shield. I don't really see this as, you know, any kind of armor. I don't think of this as any kind of armor class. I think this is absorption. And the only thing that I absorb here that I can think of that makes sense is energy. So that's the spell I'm probably keeping it under. I could use this maybe for like lesser Visage of the Deity. Yeah, it'd be a stretch. It doesn't look like Divine Favor to me or anything else like Bless or Aid or anything like that. Especially if you think about how Bless and Aid, especially Mass Aid, is going to get cast on multiple teammates. Imagine this on your whole party. That's going to look like a mess, right? So it's one of the reasons why I want to downscale this one to just the straight up blue version. Now, we've talked about Bless, the Twinkle, the minor Twinkle here in Iron Body, its counterpart. Shades has this red motes spinning around. Again, I'm not saying that this should be Shades, but I'm trying to think of what I could use it for. This could just as well be Nightshield, because this really is Nightshield's graphics still, just not the red hands and not the black aura that the vanilla version gives you. But I could totally switch this over to Nightshield and be happy as a choice. We have Shadow Shield, the black shield, could be used for itself or Nightshield. I'd be perfectly happy using that black triangular shield for either graphic. I don't want to have it on both. I should say that up front. And why I say that because Shadow Shield really doesn't have a lot of uses until you get higher level, obviously, and unlock it. and then you'll be using it every chance you can because it's so good. But by and large, I have other spells that can get me many of these things. You know, this, and then it lasts a lot longer than, you know, 1 minute per caster level. You know, the +5 natural armor class bonus, I can get that from Spider Skin itself. You know, and I get a bunch of other crap thrown in there too. What else? The DR10 against physical damage that only magic weapons can penetrate, which this is indicating here. I can get that with, was it Stone Skin? Boom. And it's the adamantine, sure. Okay, so well then fine. I'll just do it for, where's my Ghostly Visage? Here's Ghostly Visage, which is almost the same. Lasts just as long. It's not as strong, but if you want stronger, well then I'll just throw in Ethereal Visage, which does 20. You know, it doesn't last nowhere near as long at that point, but again, you get the point. There's ways to basically get Shadow Shield without using Shadow Shield. Now, in a pinch, you know, this would be something that as a wizard I would love having this spell. As a sorcerer, I might pick it, but I wouldn't have to pick it because I have ways around it. Now, having said that, since sorcerer spells are very specific, you don't get to use whatever the hell you want every time you take a damn knee like a wizard can. Sorcerer, you have to pick your spells in advance, but I would probably pick something like Spider Skin or Bark Skin anyway. So then, +5 to my natural armor class bonus, so I'm basically not going to need this one. I have ways of getting equal or better damage reduction, so I wouldn't need that part. These two here, those are a little tricky, but since I am a cleric, or have access to clerical stuff, there is a spell that I don't have access to because I'm never at a high enough level. Where is it? Sorry, I have to show it to you. And this will work. Here's Death Ward, or in this case, Mass Death Ward. But there's two versions. There's the lower version, and then there's the big team buff version. Decent duration on them. You're immune to all death spells, magical death effects, energy drain, and any negative energy effects. That includes negative energy damage spells that do negative energy damage, or like inflict minor wounds type of spells. And this one here, necromancy spells. So there is a slight difference, but the instant death effects, those are the same ones we're just talking about for Death Ward. So again, I can get real close to having this with just like 3 spells cast on me, and be pretty happy to never use Shadow Shield. But then again, that leaves me the opportunity to recycle that graphic, having that black triangle and slapping on something that I would use more often because I like the look of it. Something like Nightshield, which again, multiple classes have access to. And it's a damn good look for a Nightshield, I think. So again, not married to it. Tell me what you guys think. From there, Greater Visage of the Deity, I'm not changing it. It's an intensive graphic. I'll never really use the spell anyway because it's so high level. Doesn't last very long. If I really need it, I'll kick it on and I'll be happy with the fact that the graphic is massively intensive because it's a level 9 spell, much like Shades, the original version. You know, yes, it's a cluster pile, but so what? It's a level 9 spell and it's giving me uber buffs. I'm kind of cool with it. Even Shadow Shield, the original version, I'm kind of okay with it. If I could mute it down a little bit, sure I would, but I can't. It's either use the original, use the version I have now, which is the black shield, or use the red motes from the one that from Shades, for example, to give me an alternative. But other than that, that's pretty much all I have for those. Mage Armor, of course, I'm keeping. It has this fantastic animation. Will crash my game if I cast this on a pet, but I'm okay with, you know, just remembering that Mage Armor and improved Mage Armor only goes on people. It looks badass, and I'd love to run into battle looking like this, so I am perfectly okay with this as a spell choice. From there, this gentleman has also put together spells for... Alright, before we get the hell out of here, one last thing I wanted to show, well, two last things I wanted to show you. One I have keyed up already. Prayer is the one that he has upgraded. Prayer, Blessed, and Battle Tide. And they're all three of them keyed into whether you're a good, neutral, or evil caster. Now, I'm happy with Prayer the way it is, so I'm not modifying his version at all. Very cool look. and you got these little green pom-poms of doom if you're neutral, red if you're evil, blue if you're good. And I like that, because again, I think it's a damn good graphic, and it's long-lasting, lasts on your team, so it looks pretty badass. There's slightly different animation for each one, obviously. Again, if you're good, neutral, or evil. I'm neutral, so that's the neutral version. The other thing was Battletide, and to do this one proper, you want to see it cast on a bad guy. So here, let's get her pet out. And again, just like you saw before, Battletide is a team's buff / enemy debuff. The little zap to the bad guy is kind of what you're seeing there, but this graphic here is the neutral version. There's a slightly different graphic for the good hero, caster version. There's a different green is neutral, blue is good, red is evil, and again the animation is slightly different. The visual graphic you see spinning around here on the aura is slightly different for all three. Again, color coded, but it's also a different visual look, and I think it looks pretty badass, so I'm just keeping it the way it is, so that's fine. But the decisions then are, should I go with a specific color for aid, mass aid? Should I keep them separate? Currently I'm just making one for aid, which then tells the game to do the same visual buff for mass aid. I can literally make one for mass aid by itself, but I think they should both be the same, since it's basically the same spell, slightly better version, obviously, of mass aid's version. I tried to change Bane up. I couldn't get anything to hit the target and make them glow or change color or anything like that, so screw it, that's why that's over here though. Shield Stain to the Arcane Shield, that's what I call it. Divine Favor, I have all kinds of choices. Do I go with the red aura? Do I do with the red motes and the little red hands? Do I do the Arcanum disc behind my head, where the Divine God is looking over my shoulder and giving me my Divine Favor? All kinds of good choices. Texting from alignment, I'm just keeping with the hula hoop. Mage Armor, I love the little golden shoulder pads. These are going to stay with the vanilla version more likely than not. I'm going to keep with his version, which is cool as hell. Nightshield, do I keep the original? Do I do the red motes with the red hands? Do I do the black triangle shield and steal it from Shadow Shield? Let me know what you guys think. Basically, I'm looking for advice. And again, I may not take your advice. Don't take it personal. I had to go with what makes my character look badass. But I'm open to suggestions, and by all means, tell me what you guys think down below. And with that, my name's Brothermutant. Please like, subscribe, or hate, because I know this is not a typical video. Tell me what you guys think, though, and I do want to hear back from you. Bye now.